You talked a little bit about the fresh air. When you build a house tight, and it's sealed really tight, you have to ventilate it properly. If it doesn't ventilate properly, you have some issues that come up with that. We have a fresh air system, which we can each look at individually on the furnace. I can point it out if you have any questions. But there's a fresh air intake system that brings outside air in through the conditioning components of the furnace. So you're not getting cold air blowing on you in the winter or hot air in the summer. It distributes it through each outlet. So it's not a one spot, where it's just blowing air from outside. It distributes to every bedroom, to every living space. It makes for a much healthier environment. It's filtered through one of these. This is your code filter. Anybody have a filter like this in their house? Okay, real common, you see this at Home Depot. This is what we put in here. It's the same material, but significantly more of it. So it does a much better job capturing particulate, and with fresh air bringing from outside, one of the concerns is we don't want to bring outside, pollinated air through a standard ineffective filter. So that's the benefit of these.
I have a question.
Sure.
In emergency preparedness, they talk about if there's some major disaster outside, not to turn on your furnace because it'll be sucking in whatever that might
Sure.
be. Is there a way to temporarily turn off that pulling the air from outside and distributing it everywhere?
Yeah, we use, not to get too technical, we use an ASHRAE 62.2 controller. Long story short, it looks at the ventilation rate the house needs. It has an on-off switch.
Okay.
So we recommend it always is on. If there's a circumstance that requires, not so much outside air to be pulled in, you can turn it off for a short period of time. But with these houses being sealed up, that you don't want that to be very long. With a code-built house with ducting, even if you turn your furnace off, just the heat rise leaving your house, the energy leaving your house, draws outside air in. So it's a much safer house in your example as that, because it's all the ductwork's already inside. The other thing, just on outside penetrations, this is the standard exhaust vent you see on houses. You see that, and if you want to get closer, it's fine. There's little weep holes on the back. I don't know why. Those let water in. You seal, as a builder, around here. That does not seal the holes behind. This opens and blows moist air out directly next to these holes. This is what is typically seen. Now they're pretty good looking on a wall. I mean, I will at least give them that. The paint flakes on them like crazy though. This is what we use here. You can flash and weatherproof around it. You're not relying on caulking. And Tony, as a builder, do you want to rely on caulking? No. And as a homeowner, you don't want to have to deal with caulking because it's a yearly maintenance thing. You have to go out and check, make sure it's not cracked. This has flashing around it, has a couple weep holes, so if you put trim on it, it weeps away. This is a two-piece system, so it has a damper in there. Here's the damper. Same as these dampers. But it keeps air from backdrafting back through your fan. Has a little cage to keep critters out. Robins are really good at opening these up. They're not as good at coming back out. Okay, so we can fish them out, but it's not good for anybody, including the robin. This one has a screen. Now the dryer vents don't, so they come in screenless. But the flashing is 360 degrees around the perimeter. So when this is sealed, which we can see some on the side of the house, it's a much better fitting than what this is. So these are the little details on the heating system. It may not seem like much, but for your comfort and the durability, longevity, it's huge. Your energy consumption is considerably less. We'll talk about energy scores in a minute. But when you start cutting, heating system requirements by 40 to 45%, it's pretty significant on what the energy bills are, this house compared to a code house. So with that, I'll turn it back over.